Couple weeks ago, I talked about the Nintendo Switch and where I thought the system might be heading and Nintendo in general. So today I decided to talk about Sony and the PlayStation brand and where they're looking and how they're going in this console war. Now, if you didn't know, right now PlayStation 4 is absolutely killing it in terms of sales. And in the case of sales, like there's no contest. I don't think Nintendo or Microsoft will catch up to them in this generation. But being the best, I'm not gonna associate that with sales, as that's kind of boring. You know, hey, they sold a ton. That's successful. If they never sell another PlayStation, it'll still be a moderate success. What I really wanted to talk about was how Sony is now officially killing it in terms of games. For the first few years of the PlayStation 4, I wasn't impressed. I thought that, yeah, it had the best graphics, but looking at the games for the first few years, there wasn't much meat to them. I mean, between them and Microsoft, they kind of had the same third-party games, and for a while the exclusives, the console exclusives, weren't really all of that. Games like Infamous, while pretty, was kind of hit in terms of review scores for the story, and games like The Order, which were gorgeous, just wasn't that well received. But I think as of this year, really, as I'm recording this at the end of March, now that has changed. I mean, at the start of this year till now, they have had an army of games that you can really only get there. I mean, some of them do go to PC, but I'm not really speaking of that. I'm speaking in terms of the console space. So just listen to this: Yakuza 0, Neo, Horizon Zero Dawn, Nier Automata. That was all within the last couple months. Gravity Rush 2, Kingdom Hearts 2.8 Prologue, some crazy title. And in a couple more weeks, Persona 5 is gonna come out. In terms of exclusives, as of right now, especially if those are the kind of games you like to play, PlayStation is definitively the console you want to get. And this really speaks to their direction. I mean, I can't help but be impressed. I was worried that with the success of The Last of Us, which I thought was just a masterpiece, that Sony was going to fall in love with making these kind of super cinematic types of games. And while you like them every so often, you don't want every game to be that. And yet they've showed some restraint. I mean, there are obviously games that have been influenced by The Last of Us, but the strategy PlayStation 4 had of making sure they had powerful hardware at a solid price really paid off. Horizon and God of War, Uncharted 4, these games speak to, I think, gamers who like single player experiences and who like those big budget approaches too. So now that they're really rolling with their exclusives, I mean, this is as good a time as ever to get the PlayStation 4. And while I'm looking forward to Project Scorpio and however that shakes out, Sony kind of got ahead of the curve by releasing the PlayStation 4 Pro, which is, a slightly more powerful system that can make a lot of games look better on their system. So that's a great new entry point for players new to PlayStation. And of course, since they're selling the most, all those major third-party titles are going to be there as well. So they're in a really great place. Now everything's not perfect. They had a couple major missteps. One, of course, being probably the biggest being PlayStation Now. I don't know anybody who uses it. I tried it a couple times and it never worked as well as I was hoping it would work. There's also a question mark for me with PlayStation VR. While I hear that people who have it like it, you don't feel that commitment from Sony toward it. It doesn't feel like there's any plans. You hardly ever hear anything for it. And I don't think Sony has the money to really take major losses like that. Like, say, if they're not going to really support this thing, and they take a hit from it, that affects them and kind of affects their future. I don't think their pockets are as deep as a Microsoft or even a Nintendo. So they can't really take losses like that. But regardless, in terms of looking at the consoles and what games are offered, if I had to just pick one to tell you, as of the end of March 2017, it is definitely the PlayStation brand. You got to go ahead and get one. They have a lot of games coming out in the next couple years that are going to give you those cinematic experiences. They also kind of have the Japanese side pretty much on lock. They cover a lot of genres. And while they don't have the best in class in terms of racing anymore, Forza's kind of taking that away. They never really had a platformer that compares to a Mario or a Nintendo quality thing. You can still go to PlayStation 4 and know that you're gonna get games that look beautiful, that run moderately well. It's probably your best option for the console experience. So I'm looking forward to getting many of those games that came out in these last 3 months. I'm looking forward to more cinematic experiences, as well as those true gameplay experiences. I don't want to forget, I think that out of the 3 consoles, by far, PlayStation has the best sales. I don't think they're comparing PlayStation Plus to games with gold. In terms of the free games, I think Microsoft kind of have them a little bit. In terms of sales, they can't be touched. I mean, there's a lot of flash sales. Things go on sale so often that you'll find yourself with a massive library. And a library with a lot of unique games. They have a huge indie section. And they're pushing the envelope forward. I don't know how committed they are to the home console market. But with all this success, I guess they're going to definitely be back. Not everything has been great. I mean, Street Fighter V kind of dudded out. Like I say, until this year, I was like, you could go ahead with Microsoft. But as of this year, as of right now, the amount of titles, and a lot of them of such a high quality, you just can't argue with it right now. Sony is poised to win this thing. And, all they got to do is just keep doing what they're doing. Now, I'm the type of guy who doesn't pledge allegiance to a console or nothing. I want to have everything. I love gaming and I love the different experiences that can come from gaming. So, I don't have a dog in this race. But like I say, if I had to recommend right now one console to have, it's the PlayStation 4. You could get the base one, or you could get the PlayStation 4 Pro. Anyways, I hope you enjoyed the video. I'm gonna probably do one about Microsoft and the Xbox brand in the near future. Till next time, peace.